I played 100 days of Stardew Valley. For this first 100 days, I had a few goals in mind. Goal number 1, befriend Linus, because Linus actually gives some pretty cool gifts that are really helpful for the community center. And speaking of the community center, goal number 2, getting as much done of the community center as humanly possible. Goal number 3, having Sebastian friend-zone the ever-living crap out of me. And goal number 4, getting to the bottom of the mines, and not being such a little baby about it. So, starting right off, character creation proved to be a little bit of a nightmare. I decided that I needed the perfect shade of black pants to match my shirt, and I stopped at nothing to achieve that, for some reason. I don't know why. But I did. On day 1, I picked up my parsnip seeds, did some general farm maintenance, planted my parsnip seeds, explored a quarry area down at the bottom of my farm, visited Gunther, overexerted myself hitting a rock, chased after Sebastian to say hi and got body blocked, and then I went and said hi to Linus, and gave him a daffodil. On day 2, Creepy Clint was outside my door with blueprints for a furnace. I went down to the docks to get Willie's old fishing rod and caught a herring, bought a training rod, bought some potato seeds from Pierre, got a little confused as to where the water source was on my farm and ended up bubbling around until I found some, and I gave Linus a leek, to which he asked me this. Day 3 was the obligatory rain day, so I fished all day and got 2 levels in fishing. I started off day number 4 with some general farm maintenance. I stopped at Pierre's for some bean seeds, fished up an aquamarine, and then I totally wasn't fishing while spying on Sebastian. And then I said hi, and ran away, and talked to Linus. I leveled up mining and fishing. On day 5, Marty swung by with a cat that I named Hoops after my IRL gremlin. I then harvested my parsnip seeds and saved one. I checked the traveling merchant and freaked out because she was selling a red cabbage seed. I got the community center cutscene, and I swung by Pierre's for some more parsnip seeds. I touched the golden scroll, did some fishing, and bothered Sebastian at the saloon. I then cried myself to sleep in level 1 farming. On the morning of day 6, I got a letter from the wizard. I then visited his place and he gave me some weird mushrooms, although I'm pretty sure there weren't mushrooms and were LSD instead. Definitely LSD. Yeah. After coming down from the drugs, I then completed my spring foraging bundle. I then bought my first backpack upgrade, and I sold my spring seeds for maximum profit. I then crafted a scarecrow, had Linus tell me to go away in a roundabout way, and fished for the rest of the day, getting some artifacts. I cleared out some of my farm, and I got level 4 fishing. On day 7, I headed to Pierre's and bought some cauliflower seeds finally. I checked the community calendar to see when the Egg Festival was and saw that it was Mayor Lewis's birthday. I then flipped out because the traveling cart was selling a purple mushroom, and I couldn't afford it because I had bought cauliflower seeds. So I bought a tulip for Mayor Lewis instead. After giving Mayor Lewis the tulip for his birthday, he then proceeded to sniff me. It was gross. I then went home and cleared out an area on my farm from my cauliflower seeds. Since it was the beginning of the week, I made sure to give Linus a gift. I then spent the rest of the afternoon fishing and confirmed that Sebastian actually knew of my existence. I woke up on day 8 to a potato harvest. I gave Linus a gift, foraged through the trash while I waited for Pierre's to open, bought some more potato seeds. I then fished for the rest of the day, got an artifact, and achieved level 5 fishing, choosing Fisher as my profession. Day 9 started off with a parsnip seed harvest. I took the usual trek around my house to go get some more water, only to find out I had a completely viable source of water right next to me. The entire time. Fun! I filled back up on parsnip seeds, made some fertilizer to get gold star parsnip seeds next time, finally switched out my training rod to the bamboo rod, and spent the rest of the day fishing, catching this artifact. I also bothered Sebastian, and he got very deep with me. Extraordinarily. I went to bed and I achieved level 2 farming. I woke up on the morning of day 10 to see that the spirits were finally in good humor with me, so I did a little dance and decided to get my farm chores out of the way so I could go to the mines finally. It was also Vincent's birthday today, so I decided to forage around and find him a birthday gift. He was very appreciative of it, and he didn't smell me, so I appreciated it, unlike other members of this community. I then descended down into the mines. After going down 7 floors, I ran out of time, so I decided to go home. I hopped into bed right at 1 o'clock and achieved level 2 foraging. I woke up to a letter from Robin on day 11 informing me that she had lost her favorite axe. However, I forgot to go get it and spent the rest of the morning smelting copper bars. I wanted to get a grain silo today. I stopped off at Clint's to process some geodes. I realized that I was 1 clay short for a grain silo, so I decided to destroy the property outside of Robin and Demetrius' house in the hopes to pop one. However, a clay didn't pop, so I decided to assert dominance over Demetrius and inform him that if he didn't treat his stepson better, this was only going to be the beginning. After exhausting myself vandalizing Robin and Demetrius' property, I decided to drop off some gemstones and artifacts at Gunther's. I then collected my rewards and headed home. Day 12 ended up being a rain day, so Operation Grain Silo was officially on hold until after the Egg Festival. I caught a catfish on my second try and was so excited I did a happy dance. So happy. After catching a shad, I saw that my future husband was walking down the street, so I decided to go and say hi to him, and he complained about festivals. After hooking too many hard-patterned catfishes, I decided to switch fishing locations, and Sebastian told me to go away, so I respected his boundaries and fished several feet away from him. After hooking my eel, I only needed a sunfish to complete the rest of my community center fish for the spring. I ended up finding 2 clay in an artifact spot in my quarry on my farm, so you win this time, Demetrius. But only this time. I ended the day with level 6 fishing. Day 13 was the day of the Egg Festival. It was also a parsnip harvest. I cleared out more of my farm and got the ground primed and ready for strawberry seeds. I bought my seeds and got ready for the race of my life. And when Mayor Lewis said, "Go!" it was off to the races. And race did I ever, catching 9 eggs. And I accepted my straw hat with the biggest grin on my face. Suck it, Abigail. So I donned my hat and I planted my strawberry seeds. On day 14, my green beans and potatoes were ready. I then headed to Pierre's and bought some more parsnip seeds and some more potatoes. It was Haley's birthday today, so I got her a daffodil. The spirits were in good humor today, so it was time to go back down into the mines. But not before giving Linus a gift. I got down to floor 11 before Dougie over here beat the crap out of me. I went to bed and got level 3 farming and level 1 combat. Day 15 ended up being a good luck day, so I headed off to the mines again. I fully intended to head to Robin's to get a silo, but I didn't have enough stone, so that would have to be another day. It was salmonberry season, so I picked as many as I could on the way to the mines, and gave Linus a gift before heading in. I got bullied pretty badly by some flies. I found a special slime that ended up dropping a magnet ring for me. Thanks! But upon finding floor 15 was completely covered in bug larvae, I decided to call it quits for the night. So I went to bed and got level 2 mining. Day 16 started with a letter from my dad giving me 500 gold. I then headed into town and caught a sunfish. I then spent the rest of the day foraging salmon berries and catching fish. I ended up fishing up this artifact too. Day 17 ended up being the day that I decided that I was going to go get that grain silo, so after foraging some salmon berries, I paid Robin a visit, and finally placed down that grain silo that I so desperately wanted. I spent the rest of the day fishing, and for the spirits being displeased with me, it did give me a rather good treasure chest. I also finally picked up Robin's lost axe. I woke up on day 18 to more parsnips being ready, and I finally had enough from my quality crops bundle. I tried to give Robin her axe, but the game said no. I checked my fortune to see that it was a purple luck day. I then bought some more parsnip seeds to feed my addiction. I swung by Gus's to buy Pam a beer for her birthday, and I gave her said beer right in the middle of Joja Mart. I then went down to the mines, got bullied by bugs, and made it down to floor 20. getting a better weapon. On day 19, it was almost as if Jody had ESPN or something because she asked me for cauliflower the day my cauliflowers were ready. I knew I wasn't going to get another cauliflower harvest, so I replaced them with potatoes instead. I then finished my spring crops bundle. I gave Jody her cauliflower, and after almost eating it in front of her, I gave it to her. I checked the traveling merchant, and I decided to buy a pufferfish because catching one was going to prove to be annoying. Robin had finished my silo, so I gleefully cut grass on my farm. I swung by her house to thank her and give her her axe. I then fished for the rest of the day and visited the Adventurers Guild, getting a new sword. I finished the day with level 4 farming. Day 20 was a gold luck day. My potatoes and 75% of my green beans were ready to harvest, due to a watering error. And I picked up more taters. I started my day off in the mines getting this stonefish, and then later catching a ghostfish. I got down to level 25 before I decided to dip. I finished the night off at Gus's buying Shane a beer for his birthday. I spent the rest of my energy knocking down trees, rounding the night out with level 2 combat. Day 21 started with me choosing the Fruitbat Cave. The other 25% of my green beans were ready, and I got a strawberry harvest. I did some farm maintenance, gave Linus a gift, and I bought a poppy and a midnight carp from the traveling merchant. I finished off the day with level 5 farming, choosing tiller as my profession. On day 22, more parsnip seeds were ready. I bought more parsnip seeds from Pierre because
I like money.
I then spent the rest of the day chopping wood to invest in a coop. Day 23 was a good luck day, so I had to take my ass back down to the mines. I dropped down 10 floors to floor 35. I then chopped wood until I was exhausted. Day 24 was the flower dance, and I spent the entire morning exhausting myself chopping down trees to avoid the fact that Sebastian was going to say no to dancing to me. But I had to ask anyway, because I'm a glutton for punishment. And he said no, because there was somebody else he wanted to dance with. And when the weird culty dancing started, and the strange music started playing, my heart broke into a million pieces. And I cried myself to sleep that night. On day 25, the spirits made up for their crappy day yesterday, and gave me good luck. So after harvesting my taters and my strawberries, I visited Robin for a coop upgrade, gave Linus a gift, and headed into the mines. I dropped all the way down to floor 50, finishing the day with level 3 combat and level 3 mining. Day 26 started with the last of my parsnips and potatoes being harvested. I spent the rest of the day gathering resources for my barn. I ended the day with level 6 farming and level 3 foraging. Day 27 was a good luck day, so I harvested the last of my green beans, checked to see how my coop was going, and dropped down 10 floors in the mine, ending on floor 60. Day 28 was the last day of spring, so I spent the morning smelting copper. I bought some chickens from Marnie, naming them Tootie and Rudy. After getting everything squared away with them, I stopped by Clint's to upgrade my pickaxe. I also finished the Adventurers bundle, and I spent the last of spring deforesting my farm. Day 29 was the start of summer, so I got my fields ready for my seeds. I also mixed in fertilizer for my better quality crops bundle. I headed down to Pierre's and splurged on seeds. I then gave Linus a gift, and he actually wasn't telling me to go away for once. I completed my spring foraging bundle. I then got Linus's 2-heart event, and spent the rest of the night clearing out my farm. Day 30 ended up being a good luck day, so I collected my copper pickaxe from Clint, gave Linus a gift, only to find out I was back at square one with him, and I headed down into the mines and got pretty beat up because I didn't bring any food. I then called it a day and did some farm chores instead. Day 31 started with an earthquake in the middle of the night.
Or your mom just got out of bed. Zing!
It was another good luck day. Linus mailed me the recipe for sashimi, and Mayor Pervert wanted me to get his underwear for him. I made some Nature Valley granola bars,
Do you want ants? Because that's how you get ants.
and headed down into the mines, making it down to floor 70. Day 32, I found out my chickens had been grown up for about 2 days now. Whoops. I headed off to Robin's and I invested in a barn. I ran into Sebastian and had a cute conversation about swimming. I then headed down to Clint to process some geodes, and I donated my findings to Gunther, collecting my rewards. I then awkwardly decorated my house and planted my starfruit. I stopped at the Adventurers Guild to sell any unused weapons, and cleared my farm for the rest of the day. Day 33 was a good luck day, so I harvested my wheat, and bought some more. I bought hops from the traveling merchant and made it down to floor 80 in the mines. I woke up on day 34 to my peppers being ready to harvest. I inspected Robin's work on my barn and smelted copper. I stopped at the community calendar and realized I had forgotten so many birthdays. I then upgraded my axe. I spent the rest of the day fishing. Today was a purple luck day. My barn was complete, so I bought 2 cows, Stu and Rue. After getting everything set up with them, I then went down to the day spa. I went down to the mines and realized I was grossly unprepared and died. And Linus saved me! Yay! I didn't lose much though, so I just went home in defeat and went to bed. Day 36 was the first summer rain day, so I ran down to the beach to collect fish, getting this magma geode also. I said hello to Sebastian, picked up my copper axe from Clint, broke open my magma geodes, donated the contents to Gunther and got my rewards, gave a gift to Linus to find he was showering, went home to decorate only to find my cat body blocking me. I completed the ocean fish bundle and spent the rest of the night trying to hook a sturgeon, but none bit, so I spent the rest of the night clearing out my farm. On day 37, the gold bar that I put in the furnace overnight was ready. I then harvested my wheat, peppers, and sunflower seed. I then bought some more wheat, completed the blacksmith's bundle, and spent the rest of the day smelting iron and cleaning up my farm. Day 38 was a good luck day, so I went down into the mine. But I stopped off at Clint to buy a steel axe first. I then gave a gift to Linus and referred to himself as a wild man. I knew I was going to get my ass kicked if I went any further down into the mines, so I decided to farm skeletons today instead. And after getting my ass kicked by skeletons, I decided to go through and try to find an earth crystal at the beginning of the mines instead, for mayo machines. But I didn't find any, so I passed that on the floor of my bedroom. Day 39 was the day of the luau. I had nothing of value to put in the soup, so I added a green bean. And the soup was average. Yay!
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
On day 40, my tomatoes and my red peppers were ready. My bat cave also finally produced a peach. It was when I was petting my cows that I realized they were fully grown. It was now a race against time to go to Clint's, go to Marnie's, and get to the secret woods. I picked up a red mushroom, some fiddlehead ferns, and plenty of hardwood. Once I grabbed my copper bar, I crafted 2 cheese presses, placed them in my barn, and ran up to the mountain. After fighting for what felt like ages, I finally caught my sturgeon.
And
I woke up on day 41 to a melon and wheat harvest. Tootie had also produced her first white large egg. I went to Pierre's and bought more melon and wheat seeds. I then fished because I was an idiot and forgot to save a bullhead. I then completed the lake fish bundle, found a cockle at the beach, and spent the rest of the night clearing out my farm. Day 42, my blueberries were ready, and due to lightning the day before, we had a blueberry casualty. I then bought a rare seed while I thought of it to prep for fall. I then gave Linus a gift. I completed the crab pot bundle and the construction bundle. I caught a wood skip in the secret woods, cracked open a cold one with Shane, and spent the rest of the night cleaning out my farm. Day 43 was a good luck day, so I had to stop being such a big baby and go down into the mines. My corn and red peppers were ready to harvest. I gave Linus a gift on the way in and dropped down 5 levels to floor 85. Day 44 was another good luck day, so I harvested my tomatoes, got a large brown egg from Rudy, visited Clint to process some geodes, and donated my single finding to Gunther. I then purchased a bone sword. I then dropped down to floor 90 in the mines and got a better sword than the bone sword I just bought. I then finished off the night with Linus's 4-heart event, getting the recipe for wild bait. Day 45, more wheat was ready. I then proceeded to water the spot, but forgot to go to Pierre's and get more wheat. I made 2 mayo machines and worked on getting through the backlog of eggs I had in chests. I then stopped by Clint's for a pickaxe upgrade. I then spent some time in the secret woods and spent the rest of the night fishing next to Sebastian. On day 46, my starfruit, peppers, and blueberries were all ready to harvest. I stopped by Pierre's for some more wheat seeds and continued working on my backlog of mayo. Ignore me fishing in my coop. And then spent the rest of the day fishing at the mountain. On day 47, the spirits were in good humor again. My corn was ready to harvest, and it was another day of Project Mayo. And both my cows gave me large milks. I picked up my pickaxe, I completed my quality crops bundle, stopped by the traveling cart for a duck feather and a red mushroom, and the first thing I happened upon entering into the mines was a red mushroom. So, yay, $1,000. I got down to floor 97 before deciding that I had enough fun for the day. On day 48, more tomatoes were ready to harvest. I then spent a greater part of the day fishing for profit. I then completed the geologist bundle and finished the boiler room. Is it just me, or does anybody else get really emotional watching the Junimo give you a star? And just like that, I had completed the minecarts. I woke up on day 49 to a pepper harvest. I broke open some geodes at Clint's, and donated their contents to Gunther, collecting my rewards. I then made another mayo machine, and made even more mayo, and then cleared out my farm for the rest of the day. Day 50 was a good luck day. I harvested my blueberries and my wheat, and then headed down into the mines. However, disaster struck on floor 96, an infested floor. And infested was it ever. I fought hard though, getting down to 3 slimes before I unfortunately died. Yay. Yay, Linus! I then gave Linus a gift for saving my stupid ass. I then worked on Project Mayo, before just ultimately calling it a day. Day 51, more corn was ready. I stopped at Pierre for some more wheat seeds. I gave Linus a gift and he actually called me his friend. I then spent the day fishing, before bothering Sebastian. I then put my last 3 backlogged eggs into the mayo machine, therefore completing Project Mayo. On day 52, my tomatoes and red peppers were ready. I then spent the day fishing, and completed the dye bundle. And I spent the rest of the evening clearing out my farm. On day 53, my melons were ready, and I spent the day doing gopher quests. I also spied on Sebastian. I finished the summer crops bundle. I gave Demetrius his melon, and I spent the rest of the day planning out the area where I want my fish ponds to go. On day 54, my last sunflower and blueberries were ready. I also hit the Batcave jackpot, getting a pomegranate and 2 oranges. I foraged in the secret woods and spent the rest of the day fishing, getting some funky jewelry.
Who likes funky jewelry?
On day 55, my corn, red peppers, and wheat were all ready to harvest. I then headed into Pierre's and bought the last backpack upgrade. Maru then gave me a taste of my own medicine and spied on me fishing for the rest of the afternoon. Day 56 was the last day of summer, and also a purple luck day. I harvested the last of my tomatoes, and I headed down into the mines, finally getting a star drop. Hashtag not sponsored. I ended up dropping down 3 extra levels, but the festival had started and I didn't want to miss it, so I left. And while at the festival, Sebastian tried to scare me, which was cute. I knew I still had a lot more of this challenge to go, but I watched the jellyfish and tried not to cry. Day 57 was the start of fall, so I got my fields ready for my new crops. I headed to Pierre's and bought my community center seeds, and also a crap ton of cranberries. I then planted my seeds and spent the rest of the day clearing out my farm and foraging. I also bothered Sebastian. Day 58, I went to go find Linus to give him a gift and found him perving over by the bathhouse. I also got the special orders cutscene and thoroughly enjoyed Robin dunking on Mayor Lewis. I then completed the fall foraging bundle. I then checked out the special orders board and took Clint's quest. You're not claiming my crops as your own, Pierre. I then sold my reward seeds for profit. I then got to work beating up those dust sprites. Day 59 started with Marnie asking me for some amaranth. More corn was also ready to harvest. I also scored an apricot from my cave. I headed off to Robin's for a barn upgrade, but I was short on wood. So I deforested her property for the rest of it. And I was able to afford it. I spent the rest of the day beating up dust sprites, and I finished Clint's quest, netting myself 6G. On the morning of day 60, Clint had sent me the blueprints for a geode crusher. So I smelted some gold bars, headed off to Pierre's for amaranth for Marnie's quest, and built my geode crusher. And found out the hard way that it sucks. So I went down to Clint's to break open geodes the old-fashioned way. And broke open a prismatic shard, my first one in all my save files, and I properly freaked out. So I headed off to Gunther's to donate my drum block, and made sure I kept my prismatic shard buried deep in my chests. Still living off of adrenaline of getting my prismatic shard, I decided that today of all days was going to be the day that I started shooting my shot with Sebastian. I then spent the rest of the night fishing. On day 61, my barn was ready, so I went to Marnie and bought 2 goats, Brad and Tad. It was when I went into the secret woods to hunt down some mushrooms that I realized I forgot to plant my rare seed. Crap. I went to go visit Sebastian to give him a gift and realized I was at 2 hearts with him because I could enter his bedroom. I then gave him a gift in clear line of sight of Abigail. You sleep on him, you lose. I went to go give Linus a gift and found him perving again. I spent the rest of the night chopping down trees. On day 62, my eggplants were ready to harvest.
Dicks! I'm talking about dicks!
I spent the afternoon fishing in town for a tiger trout, and I completed the river fish bundle. I then spent the rest of the night fishing up at the mountain lake. On day 63, luck was on my side. My corn was also ready to harvest, and I took a trip down into the mines. I dropped down 10 levels to 110, getting cool space boots. Day 64, my cranberries were ready. I also scored a pomegranate from my cave. I found Linus's blackberry basket, and I returned it to him, and gave him a gift. I then unlocked Sebastian's 2-heart event. He also kind of subtly called Abigail selfish. I then gave Sebastian a gift. I spent the rest of the afternoon hunting for a walleye, and finished the night fishing bundle. I finished off the night chopping some wood. On day 65, it was a purple luck day. I also got my first notification of the Stardew fair, so I panic made a new chest and set some items aside. Then I headed down into the mines. And I finally reached the bottom of the mines, getting the skull key. And that was one objective done. On day 66, my goats were fully grown, so I made 2 more cheese presses and got to work making goat cheese. Since I wasn't planning on going back down into the mines for a little bit, I sold all my food. And I spent the rest of the day working on Demetrius' special order quest. On day 67, more eggplants, Marnie's amaranth, my yams, and corn were all ready. And after getting body blocked by Abigail, I went and bought more yams from Pierre. I stopped off at Marnie's to give her amaranth. Linus was a pervin again when I gave him his gift. I checked all around for Sebastian, but I guess he had his doctor's appointment today. I completed the Artisan bundle. And I completed Demetrius' special order quest. I spent the rest of the night chopping wood for a coop upgrade. Day 68 started with Demetrius giving me blueprints for a farm computer. More corn was ready to harvest. I chopped more wood. And I invested in a 25k bundle for reasons. And I spent the rest of the night fishing for the Stardew fair. The highlight of my night being catching a midnight carp. On day 69, giggity, Pam sent me a battery pack in the mail, which meant I could start the Mystic UI quest. Remember that crystallarium I got yesterday? Reasons. My cranberries were ready to harvest, and I took my battery pack down the tunnel. I continued my trend of giving Pam alcohol in the middle of a supermarket. I wanted to give Sebastian a gift, but he was busy hanging out with Sam.
This is my boyfriend Derek. This is Derek's boyfriend Ben.
So I decided to fish outside of Sam's house. And they eventually came out while I was catching a fish. So I made small talk and gave him his gift. I spent the rest of the night clearing out my farm. On day 70, my pumpkins were ready to harvest, and I freaked out because I got my first large pumpkin. Pam gave me the recipe for cheese cauliflower for the supermarket beer that I gave her. Reasons. I then stopped off at Pierre's for more pumpkin seeds. I gave Sebastian a gift, and spent the rest of the day in the mines trying to find earth crystals. I ended up not being able to find any, so I left. And on my way home, I completed my fall crops bundle. On day 71, more of my corn was ready because apparently I cannot water in a straight line. Lewis let me know that the Stardew Valley Fair is tomorrow, and for once I'm actually not scrambling to get items. I stopped by Clint's to see if I could get one more earth crystal for a mayo machine, and I got nothing. Linus, you pervert. I got Sebastian's 4-heart event and totally agreed to let him kidnap me on his motorcycle, any day of the week. I then got a big coop upgrade from Robin, and then spent the rest of the night in the mines trying to get another earth crystal. I woke up on the morning of day 72 and I harvested my eggplants and my corn. I loaded up my backpack with my Grange display, and I headed off to the fair. I set up my items in my display and I prayed to Yoba. I mean, just look at him being so smug. At least he didn't steal any of my crops. I calmed my nerves by talking to Sebastian. I nervously followed Lewis around as he judged everyone's display, and I couldn't get over it when he announced that I had won. I freaked out! I feel bad, but I also don't. Because I didn't want to blow all my points to chance, I decided to fish for my points instead. And soon I was the proud owner of another star drop. I also checked my fortune. Yay! On day 73, I gave Linus a gift, and headed down into the mines, determined to find that earth crystal. And luck was finally on my side because I finally found one. And I made my 4th mayo machine. I then spent the rest of the night clearing out my farm. On day 74, Robin told me that she had finished my coop upgrade. I also got my first wild honey that I turned into mead. I harvested my cranberries. I went to go buy some ducks from Marnie only to find her running away from her shop. Thanks, Marnie. It wasn't like I wanted to buy anything from you or anything. I smelted some copper bars and decided to pay Robin a visit for another grain silo, because Marnie was probably going to let me down again during the wintertime and I didn't want my animals to starve. I then chopped wood for the rest of the night in anticipation of my last coop upgrade. On day 75, Caroline requested a pumpkin. Some of my corn was ready to harvest. And Marnie was finally home, so I bought 2 ducks, Ducky and Bucky. The traveling cart was selling a rabbit's foot, and I was so excited that that was one piece of RNG that I wouldn't have to deal with. I threw a blackberry in the keg for the wine part of that bundle. I then planted some oak trees for future keg projects. But then I realized I didn't have tree fertilizer unlocked, so I didn't know if they were going to grow on time. I also did the rainbow shell part of the Mr. Q quest. I accepted Willie's special orders quest, and chatted about books with Sebastian. I gave Caroline her pumpkin, and spent the rest of the night in the mines hunting bug. On day 76, more of my corn was ready. I then spent the rest of the day down in the mines fighting bugs. I then got level 7 foraging. Hello, tree fertilizer! On day 77, I woke up to a eggplant, yam, and corn harvest. I made some tree fertilizer to hopefully speed up the growing of my oak trees. I then spent the rest of the day murdering bugs in the mines, but I ended up not being able to complete the quest. On day 78, I got some more wild honey, but since I already had some wine processing in my keg, I decided to just keep it. I took a trip down to Clint's to process some more geodes, and I donated my findings to Gunther, getting my rewards. I took a hardwood quest from Robin off of the special orders board, and visited the secret woods. I spent the rest of the day chopping down trees and getting my silos ready for winter. On day 79, I woke up to a cranberry and a corn harvest. I gathered more hardwood in the secret woods, and I was surprised to find Linus not perving for once. And I gave Sebastian a gift too. And then he complained about pumpkin spice, and if this man isn't my future husband, then I don't know who is. I fished for a little bit before spending the rest of the night in the mines trying to find a purple mushroom. Ended up not finding one though and just went home. On day 80, my ducks were grown, so I happily patted them and collected a duck egg for the community center. I collected more hardwood for Robin, gave Linus a gift, and headed off into the mines to find another purple mushroom. And I must have had a good luck stack because one spawned on floor 91 for me. I then spent the rest of the night fishing. On day 81, I headed off to the secret woods. 2 of my oak trees were grown, so I would have to make tappers when I got home. I visited Robin and invested in a deluxe coop. I then gave Sebastian a gift and clear line of sight of his mother. Oops. I'm pursuing your son, yay! I then fished for the rest of the day, smelted some copper, and made some tappers. On day 82, more eggplants were ready to harvest. I kept up work on Robin's quest, and saw that the rest of my trees were now fully grown. I spent the rest of the day fishing before making some more tappers before bed. On day 83, my second batch of pumpkins were ready. I spent the day chopping wood, smelting copper, and making tappers, until all of my trees had finally all been tappered. I almost forgot to go into the secret woods today. Whoops. I finally had all my hardwood, I just had to put it into her box tomorrow. I also got an owl statue in the middle of the night last night. I then hung out with Sebastian at the Spirits Eve festival and got the golden pumpkin. On day 84, I woke up to a corn and cranberry harvest. I headed off to Marnie's and I bought 2 rabbits, Robbie and Bobby. I then headed off to Robin's and gave her the hardwood for the quest that I just completed. I was pretty depressed over going into winter without getting farming level 10, so I spent the rest of the day fishing. Feeling like a complete failure, I went to bed that night. And got farming level 10! I chose Artisan, of course. Day 85 started with me selling all of my Artisan goods. I then got the cutscene with maybe Krobus, maybe not Krobus. I found him in a bush and he gave me the magnifying glass. I then invested in some money bundles. I gave Linus a gift. I went to go give Sebastian a gift and I walked in on Robin presenting her new hardwood bed that she made with the hardwood I gave her. It was thoroughly enjoyable dunking on Demetrius, and Sebastian even agreed with me. I went to go give Sebastian a gift and yeah, I really need to get this boy out of here. I accepted Demetrius's quest to go catch some lingcods. I also completed the winter foraging bundle, and I spent the rest of the day fishing. Look at all of that money. That is why you save all your artisan goods. By the way, on day 86, because of my newfound riches, several villagers sent me letters informing me of their newest wares. The first matter of business was completing the last vault bundle, therefore completing the vault. I gave Linus a gift, gave Sebastian a gift, unlocked Sebastian's 6th heart event. I also got Linus's 8 heart event. I fished for the rest of the day and visited Willie, and he told me about something out back, and I don't know, Willie, kinda concerned. I bought an iridian rod and some trap bobbers before I left. Yay, desert! On day 87, I went down to Marnie's and bought 2 heaters and 2 auto grabbers. I then grabbed my prismatic shard, bought a bus ticket, and headed off to the desert. And clutching my prismatic shard, I ran up to the 3 pillars, creating a galaxy sword. I then fished up a sandfish. I then visited Sandy and bought some beet seeds. When I got home, I headed off to Gus's and bought Pam a beer for being a real one and driving me out to the desert. I finished the specialty fish bundle, therefore completing the fish tank. I also completed the exotic foraging bundle, therefore finishing off the crafts room. I spent the rest of the night fishing. Yay! On day 88, I woke up to my oak resin being ready, so I headed down to the community center and finished up the enchanter's bundle. I ended up snagging a nautilus shell off the beach, so I completed the field research bundle too. I got the cutscene with Willy giving me a copper pan, and I spent the rest of the day clearing out the quarry. I smelted some copper bars before bed. On day 89, I finally visited Clint's and upgraded my watering can. I finished up clearing out my quarry. I decided to take a trip down to the quarry mine and got bullied pretty badly by some skeleton heads. I almost made it to the golden scythe too before dying. Yeah, that's a big yikes for me, dog.
Thank you, Linus.
I ended up just heading to bed in embarrassment. On day 90, Clint wanted me to shoot his shot for him with Emily. My rabbits finally gave me wool. I then realized I had all the ingredients this entire time for the greenhouse. Yay. I went home and smelted some copper. I then spent the rest of the day chopping down trees in penance for my stupidity so I can get the final barn upgrade.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
On day 91, Pierre must have found out that I bought beet seeds from Sandy because he came to my house and threatened me about buying other competitor seeds. I then got my greenhouse ready for my beet seeds, and I smelted some ore to make some quality sprinklers. I headed down to Clint's to pick up my watering can and drop off my hoe for an upgrade. I then headed up to Robin's and bought a deluxe barn upgrade. I made some fencing for my animal area, hooked up my sprinklers, and spent the rest of the night clearing out the area where I would like my fish ponds to go. Day 92 was the Festival of the Ice. I made a point to talk to Sebastian, and then I decided to start the competition. I then proceeded to fish.
Your legacy!
I was just about to catch my 6th fish when Lewis rudely ended the competition. But I won, so I wasn't all that angry. I went home and I donned my new hat. On day 93, I spent the morning smelting some iron. I then stopped by Clint's and picked up my hoe, broke open some geodes, and proceeded to upgrade my watering can. I then donated some artifacts to Gunther and picked up my Rareco gift. I then gave Sebastian a gift while he was rooting around for some leftovers. I then accepted a quest to find the prismatic jelly, and I gave Linus a gift. I then hit on Emily for Clint and it didn't go over very well. I then bought a beer for Pam and Shane. On day 94, I spent the morning smelting iron bars for future farm tool upgrades. I forgot to mention it, but I also planted my rare seed. I gave Linus a gift, and I gave Sebastian a birthday gift. He then asked me to hang out, and I checked our heart meters, and we were at 8 hearts. I then bought my first fish pond from Robin. I spent the rest of the day in the mines trying to find the prismatic slime. Day 95 started with a visit from Evelyn giving us a plant pot. I got some pine tar, so I made my first loom. I then picked up my watering can from Clint's and upgraded my hoe. I headed off to Pierre's and I bought my bouquet. And Sebastian is now my boyfriend. Aww, his dialogue is so cute here. He wants to learn how to cook. I then spent the rest of the afternoon trying to find the prismatic slime again. Day 96 started with a letter from the wizard requesting a void essence. So I paid him a visit and gave him one, and then he promptly kicked me out. My fish pond was ready, so I grabbed one of my saved sturgeons and tossed one in. I then spent the rest of the day looking for the prismatic slime. Again. On day 97, Emily swung by and let me know that I could use her sewing machine. My beet seeds were also ready to harvest, so I put the beets in Lewis's fridge and pretended not to see his dirty oven. I also stopped to chat with my boyfriend. I picked up my upgraded hoe from Clint's, and then invested in a gold watering can. I stopped to pan a spot and ended up getting a diamond and a lucky ring. I bought a bus ticket and headed off to the desert. I headed to Sandy's and bought all the starfruit seeds I could afford. I then did the last step in the Mr. QI quest, and I spent the rest of the day looking for the ever-elusive slime. On day 98, I got a letter in the mail informing me that my favorite festival was coming into town, the night market. I spent the morning smelting gold bars. I gave Linus and Sebastian gifts. And then I went and tried to find the, you guessed it, prismatic slime. On day 99, I headed down to Clint's to grab my watering can. I also opened up some geodes, and then donated what I discovered to Gunther. I wasn't going to get the sewer key, but I figured I did a pretty good job. I then gave Linus his last gift, and discovered that I was at 10 hearts with him, and that was another objective complete. I then visited Sebastian and gave him a gift, and again I checked my relationship with him, and I was at full hearts. And Sebastian did try to friendzone the ever-living crap out of me, but in the end, I won. I spent the rest of the afternoon in the mines battling some slimes because I totally forgot that the prismatic jelly quest ended yesterday. I left early to head to the night market and picked up this quest from Gunther. I watched the mermaid show and went deep-sea fishing, finding plenty of blobby boys. On day 100, I walked outside completely shocked to see Gunther standing out there, waiting to give me the sewer key. I checked my sturgeon pond to see that they wanted a diamond. I also made a second loom. I tossed my diamond in, and I dreamed of caviar for the next 200 days. Maybe. Like, comment, and subscribe. I headed into town and I unlocked the sewer. I met Krobus for the first time, and I bought a void egg. I spent the rest of the afternoon beating up skeleton bros. On the way to the night market, I had the cutest conversation with Sebastian. And we hung out by the coffee dude before I went deep sea fishing. At the end of the night, I had a pretty good haul of fish. I incubated my void egg, and I headed off to bed, completely satisfied with all that I had achieved. And that was the end of my 100 days of Stardew Valley. If you liked this video, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, guys, I'm Gary, signing off.